Welcome to Ingrid's World. I am your host, Ingrid Paris Hicklin. On this show, you will meet a former U.S. Army Buffalo soldier in the 92nd Infantry Division. He navigated the battlefields of World War II to maintaining calm and order in New York City's prisons for over 21 years, award-winning. Then he went on to be author of Making the Right Moves, Rikers Island and New York, Corrections and Being Calm in a Storm. Then we'll meet a certified yoga instructor who operates Perfect Lifestyle Center, LLC. She will answer the question, what is yoga and who should practice yoga? She'll even demonstrate a few yoga exercises. Our last guests are the founders of Muslims Are Us. Their mission is to educate Muslims and non-Muslims about the universal, humane values of Islam and give voice to the silent majority of Muslims who abide by these values and who are playing positive roles in their communities all over the world. So let's learn how, with information, we can each build a better bridge to understanding each other. Well, welcome to the show, Roy. Great to have you.
I thank you for inviting me. My pleasure.
Well, first of all, let's tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. I was introducing you from New York, am I correct?
Yes, I am.
And you had an outstanding career.
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have. Well, let's just touch a little bit about when you in World War II.
World War II. In World War II, they called for volunteers. Mm-hmm. I did not volunteer.
All right.
I was a black man. I felt that my war, my fight for justice, freedom, was right here in the USA, not over there in some foreign land. So I didn't volunteer. But they drafted me anyhow. I didn't want to go to jail, so I went in the Army. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. My first stop in the Army was in Virginia.
Oh my goodness.
Patrick Henry. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh yes, of course.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Camp Patrick Henry, Virginia.
Wow.
In the camp, they had white German prisoners of war. Okay. They treated them far better than the black American soldiers.
Seriously?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, of course I didn't like it there at all. I didn't like the Army to begin with. Mm-hmm. But when I saw an ad, whatever, that the Buffalo soldiers, 92nd Infantry Division, were looking for new people, I said, that's me.
Wow.
I volunteered. I joined them in Arizona. And when I got there, among the 14,000 battle-tested, battle-trained black troops, I felt a sense of respect and pride, and I was ready for anything with my buddies.
You know what really struck me is that when you were in the war, you were in Italy, and the nuns called you in. And why did the nuns call you in?
Well, we had just liberated these villages. We were on armored cars and half-tracks and whatever. I was in the mechanized cavalry recon. And every town we went past through, liberating, the people would come out, we stopped, they'd come out, they're all over us, happy, so forth. In this particular town, we were surrounded by people as usual. And two nuns moved up to the front to where I was standing and one of my buddies. And they asked us if we would accompany them. I said, certainly. I didn't know where we were going in this strange town, but sure, we'll go.
Right.
So I went with them, my buddy and I. We went into this building and into a very large room. It was completely empty. Ooh. We stood in the center of the room, and we said, why? To ourselves, why are we here? There's nobody here, there's nothing happening. And then we heard sounds of little children. Yeah. They came racing out. They were so happy, so joyous. They were, it was a sight to be seen. And they jumped all over us. Oh, I'll tell you. Where are you from? I'm from here, I'm from there. They were from all different parts of Italy. So I realized that that's why the nuns wanted us to come there, to see what we had done. We had liberated these children, and now they were free to go back home.
Powerful, powerful. Then you come back to the States. And I also read when you were a mail carrier too.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Oh boy, that was a job.
That was a job. But the real job was being in New York City Correction.
Yes.
Former assistant deputy of Rikers Island. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. Tell us about that experience.
Rikers Island. When I arrived at Rikers Island, the institution to which I was sent and served and so forth, it was a penitentiary where inmates were sent to do time from 6 months to a year. But it didn't remain as such for very long. They transferred all of the sentenced inmates out of the institution in which we was in. It was always called a pen. And it was a pen. It looked like a pen.
Ooh,
and it was a terrible place. Right, regardless. They moved the sentenced inmates out, and they brought in adolescents. We became the Adolescent Remand Shelter. 2,000 adolescents. They were in wretched conditions, okay? That was 1967. From 1967 till 1972, 5 years, those kids suffered, okay? Patient, okay? We had what they call a grievance committee, liaison committee, where I was the chairman, I met with their leaders every week, and they would bring to me their grievances and so forth, etc. The ones that we could take care of, we did. For example, they complained about the frankfurters. They claimed that the frankfurters were not all beef. I didn't know whether they were or not. So I went to the kitchen, break open the franks. They broke them open, I looked, a big batch of franks was marked beef, one side was marked pork. The inmates were right. Okay, so we took care of that. There were other things that they did that we could take care of.
Right.
Now, there were other serious things that they had, grievances that we could not do.
Right.
So we sent them up to other officials who had the power and authority to take care of those things. Every time the answer came back, no. Too expensive, security concerns.
Right.
Now, how long were these kids going to take that?
Right.
We knew it was just a matter of time before the place was going to go up, and it did.
Right, and it did. You've just did so much in your career. I mean, you were there when the Black Panthers were there. You were held hostage.
Yes.
There. In the book, it seems like you were held twice as a hostage.
I was almost a hostage the second time.
Oh, the second time you
The second time
were,
I was.
okay.
I was almost a hostage.
Okay. And then you were able to bring calm in the midst. I just can't imagine you jumping on a table. What did you do? Jump on a table?
Oh, that was in the dining room.
In the dining room.
It was breakfast. I was a captain supervising the feeding of our homicide inmates. Since they transferred the adolescents to our institution, they made no preparations for how to feed them. So we had to feed them in the same manner that we fed the adults. We marched them down a long corridor into the big dining room. They would be seated, and they would remain there till the officer told them to rise and so forth, and then they would go out.
Right.
Well, during the feeding, and as inmates were leaving, we had an officer stationed outside the, outside the dining room. His job was to see that they deposited their spoons in the receptacle where he was standing in front of.
Right.
One inmate, instead of depositing the spoon, he took off and started running in the opposite direction, one of our trial inmates. And he ran right into the kitchen. We had 3 officers. The officer watching the spoons, the escort officer, and the officer seating the inmates. So all 3 of those officers took off. And I saw them running by from where I was standing, so I knew something was happening. So I ran into the back quickly.
Yes.
And I looked to my right, and I saw that my officers had the situation in hand. This inmate that ran into the kitchen began to stab one of the sentenced hospital workers. He's already charged with murder, all right? He began stabbing. My officers jumped in, and unlike the police, we do not have guns. As a matter of fact, you have absolutely nothing but your brains and your 2 hands, okay? You have to use both sometimes. So they restrained him without injuring him at all. They restrained him. So when I looked to my right and I saw they had that situation under control, I remembered. We now have no officers in the dining room.
Wow.
With these 30 inmates.
Wow.
I left sitting down.
Wow. You know, when I was reading your book, I was just awestruck with, you know, how well, you know, you were able to navigate, but mainly what you try to do, you know, in terms of introducing recreational activities and trying to give them jobs in prison, and you were the one who was running, you know, the forerunner of all of this. So I say this to you, has much changed?
Much changed where? In the system?
In the system.
From what I read, it has changed, but for the worse.
Ah.
Right? But for the worse. That's why I wrote the book.
That's why you wrote the book. And I'm hoping that many will read this book, as I have done, and be inspired. Because you're telling it from a... You retired in 76?
76.
So you mean to say in 40 years, there has been no change?
I didn't say that. You misspoke.
Oh, I misspoke.
Oh, no, you misspoke.
I misspoke.
I said things have changed.
Things have changed.
For the worse.
But for the worse.
For the worse.
All right. So what I'm asking our viewers, get out there, read this book. It's inspiring. But also, I'm giving a shout out to Denzel Washington, because it needs to be made into a book. I'm not joking. Now, true enough, he might have to lose a little weight.
You flatter me.
But it is something that needs to be made. I don't know how you did it, but I'm just telling you, you're a miracle.
Well, you know what they say. God was on my side. He sent angels to look over me.
He was your navigator.
He sent angels to look over me.
Over you, under you, and with you. That's how you did it.
You got that right.
Boy, it's a pleasure having you on the show. You're
Ingrid,
amazing.
my pleasure. I thank you, dear.
Thank you. Coming up next, we'll be talking with the yoga instructor from Perfect Lifestyle Center, LLC. Well, welcome to the show, Zainab. Great to have you.
Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you.
Well, introduce yourself to our viewers.
Well, my name is Zainab Sayed, and I'm a yoga instructor and a nutrition coach, and I'm from India, so that's what I do.
That's what you do. And so, what is the yoga lifestyle? What's that about?
Well, I would describe it as a very scientific and a healthy way of living towards a better lifestyle. And it's based on simple techniques of just breathing and stretching and self-discipline. That's all it is.
So how did you begin practicing yoga?
You just have to have that intention towards your own wellness, I would say.
Your own wellness.
Yeah, that's the first step, the awareness towards the own wellness of your body and responsibility towards your own self.
I like what you're saying. So will yoga help a person?
It can help anybody who wants to do it.
Ah.
Yes, it could help anybody who wants to do it. So we have I have classes run for little children. I have a Smart Kid class. I have classes run for fun.
I love it.
And for adults and for senior people, I have classes from the junior section running to the senior with the chair yoga for people who are immobile, have difficulties in being on the mat. So it could help anybody.
It can help anyone. Yeah. So can you show us a few exercises that we could, use and we can do at home?
Well, this is an easy exercise that you could do anywhere, and I would recommend this. These are chair exercises, so you could do it right in your office or just while you're, starting to leave home. And you can take breaks between your lunch and just, after your lunch break and do those exercises. So one would be a little simple breathing, because most of us are not aware of what we do. So let's start with a little breathing. Would be like just inhaling. Take a nice deep breath and exhale. Release. So when you release, exhale very slowly and relax your muscles and release all the tensions and all the worries. Let it go. Yes. One more time. Inhale. And exhaling. Release. And the second most one of my favorite would be the diaphragmatic breathing, where you just place your right hand over your navel area.
Okay.
Yes. And now this time you're observing your diaphragm. So inhale in 3 counts. Hold your breath. And exhale very slowly. Take your time to exhale. And feel the diaphragm rising up and going down. And this helps in controlling anxiety.
Oh.
Yes, so you can do this anytime during the day. Is inhale, hold, and exhale. Slowly. So we got done with 2 breathing. And what we can do is while you're at work or at home, you can start from your neck area. So it's always good to first to feel the blood flow back towards your brain, so your mind is clear. And that would be like dropping your head to your right shoulder, inhaling, drop, exhale, rise up, inhale, drop to your left, and feel that stretch on your lateral side. So feel those movement of blood flowing back towards your brain. And exhaling, come back, and inhaling, give a nice pull to your chin area. Feel that nice stretch from the base of your throat to the base of your chin. And that's actually awakening your thyroid also. So exhaling, bring it back, and now drop your chin to the center of your chest. And exhale, back to the center. So you can do one more round. Inhale to your right, exhale, back, inhale to your left, and exhaling, back, and one more pull to your thyroid, waken up your thyroid. Feel that nice stretch, and exhaling, come back very slowly and drop your chin to the center of your chest. And exhaling, raise your head up very, very slowly. And just stay there for a minute. And exhaling, slowly open up your eyes. And just relax. And now we can stretch your arms out, palms facing the ground. And once more time, without moving your heels, inhale, twist towards your left. See that your fingers are in the same line. And exhaling, come back, inhale towards your right, and exhale, come back and release. Bring back to your center of your chest. And now this time you can open up your knees to the side of your chair. And we do a nice twist to your spine. So inhaling, twist, touch your right elbow on your left knee, and look over your shoulder. So this gives a nice stretch to your neck area, a nice twist to your spine. You can hold your breath, and exhaling, release, come back. Again, one more twist, inhaling, touch your left elbow to your right knee, look over your shoulder, and exhale, come back.
Wow.
So these are very simple, easy techniques to maintain good health and improve the flexibility of the spine and increase your quality of life.
Wow. Well, I had to thank you for being on the show and showing us this.
You're welcome.
I feel already relaxed, and it's been a busy day, and you came at the right time. So I could
I'm so happy I was here today.
Inhale and relax. Oh, wonderful. You're fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're wonderful.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we'll be talking with 2 wonderful guests from Muslims Are Us. So please stay right there. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, let's have you both introduce yourselves to our audience. Let's start here.
Yeah. So my name is Ambreen Rizvi, and I am the co-founder with Jay of our movement called Muslims Are Us. I live in Northern Virginia. I work for a large bank. I have 3 wonderful daughters with a great husband. So that's all about me.
Jay?
My name is Zaidi. As Ambreen mentioned, we launched Muslims Are Us last year. And I live in Northern Virginia as well, and I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl, and a wonderful wife. And I've been in this area for almost 25 years now.
Wonderful. So Amber, you and I are Rotarians, and we started having this conversation, and then you presented, about Muslims Are Us. What is the mission?
So the mission is basically to open our doors, right? Like we are trying to educate Muslims, but also non-Muslims about the real values of Islam. We're trying to change all like the bad image, the media coverage that Islam is getting, unfortunately. We are trying to change mindsets. We are just like being ourselves and portraying who we are as people, what this religion is, in the real truth.
Exactly. And you're doing it so well. What are some of the activities that you've been involved in?
We've done several over the last year, and Ambreen can shed a little bit more light on that. But our mission, as part of the mission, is to get engaged in the community, so that the larger community gets to know us as Muslims, as productive citizens in this area, as well as show them the true values of Islam, which is charity, which is a common, very core theme, as well as regard for the other human beings, our fellow human beings, and being out there for them when they need us.
Wow, and that's so powerful.
Exactly.
And that this show is dedicated to bridging understandings, because we need to understand and learn more about each other.
Exactly.
And it's so powerful. So, what is, let's say, the main goals? You've done charitable programs. What's some of the programs that you've done?
So we have done a lot of work with shelters, where we have gone in there not only to bring food, but also to make packages over Christmas time, and also, to donate. Like Share is one of the local big food bank in the Northern Virginia area, so we have done donations there as well.
Wow.
But we have also gone to assisted living, where our youth has performed, for all the elderlies in the center. So we have provided a musical entertainment as well. We have also collected donations now multiple times for the Syrian refugees that are coming in many states, local as well as in other states as well. And we have also opened our doors in our mosque. We've had a Rotarian, Lori, coming to see us during Ramadan, with other friends of hers as well. So we are bridging the gaps, and we are also trying to attend interfaith sessions. I had the pleasure of being at Fort Myers to hear, one of the Muslim chaplains in the U.S. Army to talk about Islam to, the congregation there.
This is beautiful, and that's what it's all about. So how can we make things better between, Muslims and non-Muslims? Because I think we all have a hand in this if we want to make things better.
That is true. I believe the main aspect of this is to learn and to educate ourselves about each other's religion. And the beauty of this is that all major religions lead us to the same path, to the same sort of place. So there isn't really a need for us to be in conflict. It's more about, let's learn about the other religions, appreciate what they bring to the table, and then work together to make this a wonderful society, a better society.
Exactly. Yeah, because we all have a hand in all of this.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's not, let's say, an individual and golly, the media, It's terrible.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's been a challenge, and one of the our mission is to educate the common person who may have been misinformed about the religion. So we have a lot of resources on our website, muslimsaras.org. That we have videos, we have books about Islam, we have lots of resources, stories about the prophets that kind of tell you the true narrative of Islam and the beauty of the religion, so that people can go in and experience it for themselves and educate themselves about the religion.
That would be really. So when I was planning this show, what would be, let's say, the one thing that you want to communicate with our viewers, their takeaway? What would you like to say with them, Ambreen? What's their takeaway?
I think first our slogan is very important, right? Knowledge, humanity, justice.
Ooh.
I think these three words say a lot about who we are, what our movement is all about.
Yes.
So that would be the first thing that I would tell our viewers today. The second thing is, get to know your neighbor. If you happen to know people that are Muslims, go and get to know them.
Yes.
You will be amazed what kind of people they are, who they are actually, how helpful they can be, how welcoming, the human nature of who they actually are. In the time that we're living in, with what is being portrayed, in this electronic age, there's a lot of truth, but it is also not the real truth.
Right.
And that's what we are trying to caution people through our work, that, don't believe everything that you hear and read. Go and get to know someone, open your doors, bridge the gaps.
Wonderful. And Jay, a final word that you would like to add?
I think our mission, as Ambreen mentioned, is to educate and raise awareness, and hopefully through the work that we're doing, by being out there in the community, and by through our Facebook page, our website, and our Twitter handle, we are able to project the right image of Islam, and hopefully your viewers will take the time to go out there and educate themselves and truly learn about this wonderful religion.
Fantastic. I have to thank you both for being on the show. Amazing.
And
it's all, again, bridging, understanding, and that's how we make a better world.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank
Ingrid.
you. I would like to thank our wonderful guests for being on this show. Our quote this time is from James Baldwin. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. So thank you for watching Ingrid's World, and don't forget to friend us on Facebook and follow Ingrid's World VA in Twitter and Instagram for instant Ingrid World news. So stay in touch and be a blessing to someone today.